This episode was recorded on 7th of March, the day before Shivratri and way before Sadhguru underwent brain surgery. We wish him a speedy recovery from the ANI podcast team. But if I have cancer, would I go to a spiritual guru to cure me or would I go to an allopathic doctor? What should a person do?
If somebody comes with cancer, first thing I tell them, just go to the hospital, get yourself treated for recovery, because the treatment itself is so aggressive, you need a recovery time. For that you come, we'll help you out. There have been people who have come out of their cancer by doing certain internal things, but that is not a guarantee.
So this holistic health…
See, holistic health is not to get sick. Holistic health does not mean we'll cure the sick.
Okay.
It's to help you so that you don't get sick.
Sadhguruji, one of the things which you say that needs change is our education system.
100%. World Health Organization is saying that there's going to be a mental health pandemic. Who will go into it? Your children. You better know that. We're pushing the next generation there. The problem is, the present education system is like an extruder. Everybody is mixed the same way, put into the same extruder, push it, when they come out, like education factory, like spiritual factory, you know.
I know, I was wondering whether you're going to go there.
Yes. Whether you call it Hindu, you call it Sanatani, but essentially this is going to be the future of the world because the next generations that come are unwilling to buy tickets to heaven. I was quite ignorant just a couple of years ago, but when I really looked up, I would say the forces which were working against Ram temple have fallen apart. We are not secular because all our temples are held in the government hands. Yogi means one who has consciously obliterated the boundaries of our existence. This is a secret, don't tell anybody. Smita podcast is the greatest thing I'm doing in my life.
Amazing. Namaste, Jai Hind. Welcome to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. This episode is being filmed at the Isha Foundation in Coimbatore. My guest today is Sadhguru, who needs no introduction. Sadhguruji's work has touched the lives of millions worldwide through his transformational programs. Sadhguru has a unique ability to make the ancient yogic sciences relevant to contemporary minds, acting as a bridge to the deeper dimensions of life. His approach doesn't ascribe to any belief system, but offers methods for self-transformation that are both proven and powerful. Sadhguruji, thank you so much for being… Namaskaram.
Welcome at Isha Yoga Center.
Thank you so much.
I hope everything is going well for you.
Absolutely. I'm feeling so blessed that I'm here to speak with you when there are millions around the world who will be listening and watching the Mahashivratri, which will be direct telecast, and we are going to be showing this on our YouTube channel after the Shivratri celebrations. So they will see it once more, everything. So I really look forward to this conversation. I've spoken with you before, but I will, being a hardcore journalist, I'm going to begin with the newsy element first. We're going to be heading into elections soon, Sadhguruji. So, what do you think is the significant part that elections are being held in the same year that the Pran Pratishtha was held in Ayodhya?
See, I know for the media and journalists, it's very easy to link these two things. But do you believe that we timed it over 550 years, we timed it for 2024 election? That's unfair. It's not timed like that. Well, it's fallen at that time and definitely it'll work to advantage for all those who show bhakti towards Ram, that's for sure. But how can anybody say, over 550 years we planned and timed it for 2024 election to make somebody win? That's not right.
Do you think there were some cosmic forces at play that everything fell into place? The judiciary, the people who were working towards it, because so many times it seemed that the Mandir is going to happen, but it didn't happen.
No, the wonderful thing about this whole thing is when you look back, I was quite ignorant just a couple of years ago about this aspect. But when I really looked up, what you see is for the last 550 years, even when very tyrannical rule was on, where everything was by sword, in spite of that, the tenacity of ordinary people, the devotees, has been such, non-stop the struggle has been on. Non-stop they've held on to that site. And there has not been any let-up in their efforts. So instead of saying that things have fallen into place, I would say the forces which were working against the forces which were working against Ram temple have fallen apart. That's the reason why it's happened now.
Do you think there is a resurgence of spiritualism, resurgence of knowing what it means to be a Hindu, an Indian, and having more pride in one's cultural ethos, which is happening of late?
See, it's important that because in the world, and even in India largely, we are trying to understand Hindu just as we understand every other Abrahamic religion. That is, it's a set of beliefs. Which book do you fall out of? We don't fall out of any book. We have hundreds of books, though they burned thousands in the past. Nalanda was burnt over a period of months. Though they destroyed so much of knowledge, still there are hundreds of books. And we don't come out of any of those books. We may refer to them. I don't. At least there are people, scholars and others who do. But common people don't read any book usually. Some people may read something which is popular, but there is no such thing to be a Hindu, you must be reading this book or that book. Because the essence of Hindu or Sanatan is this, that it's an aspiration of a human being to become free, to become liberated. So you may call it Hinduism, this is a misnomer because it's not an ism. You can call it Jainism, you can call it Buddhism, you can call it Sikhism, but essentially these are all groups of people who are all aspiring for their ultimate liberation. They are not seeking pleasures in heaven, they are seeking liberation from the process of life and death itself. So essentially you have to describe Sanatan as this, it's an aspiration of a human being to rise beyond the limitations that we normally consider as human. Say, because Ram temple you mentioned, I am not generally a very temple-going person. I build them, but I don't go there, all right? Because I build them as instruments for people to experience and realize something more profound than where they are right now. For me, if I close my eyes, I'm done. I don't go to any institutions like that. Unless it's architecturally very unique or beautiful or energetically it's significant, if I'm interested in seeing how the consecrations are done, then I go, but I don't go for my benefit anywhere. So, you don't have to be doing something specific to be a Hindu, that is the most beautiful thing. You don't have to read this, you don't have to say this prayer, you don't have to go to the temple. You can go or you cannot go, you can read or you cannot read, you can believe or you do not have to believe. All the ways you are still a Sanatani or Sanatana Dharma because you're aspiring for your ultimate liberation. You are not waiting for an entity to come down from heaven. You are seeing how to raise yourself to the ultimate possibility. Even when it comes to Ram, see, we are out of respect, out of regard, out of love, somebody may say Lord Ram, but actually you're saying he's Maryada Purushottam. Purushottam means what? A human being who's become Uttama. That means he's risen. So we are openly saying he is a human being who rose to a point where almost beyond being human.
Or did he come to the earth to tell us what a Maryada Purushottam should be?
See,
both ways?
The simplistic minds would always want to believe that. But this is the beauty of being human, that you can raise yourself to a place where you're almost divine. Or you can make a beast out of yourself. This freedom is given to you. See, a tiger can only be a tiger. It can't act like a fox. An eagle can only be an eagle, it can't behave like a sparrow. But you can be anything you want. This is why you are a human being. That means you determine your way of being. When you determine your way of being, depending upon how you are cultured around you, this is what the samskara, the Samskriti is around us, the culture is to nurture you towards that highest point of a human being, how you can be that. And in many ways, this will anyway be the future of the world. Whether you call it Hindu, you call it Sanatani, or you call it whatever you want, universality, oneness, you call it anything you want. But essentially, this is going to be the future of the world because the next generations that come are unwilling to buy tickets to heaven. Lot of stuff in the world has been run by only selling tickets to heaven, that there is a better place than this. I think the very idea that there is a better place than this for you to live is a very criminal idea, if you ask me, because this means you will deny yourself life here, because actual life is to happen elsewhere.
In preparation.
This is just nothing. This, however you live, it doesn't matter. That one is important, somehow get there. This is a very wrong idea. This is a sure way of creating civilizations of cruelty and conquest, and that's exactly what's happened. So, the civilizations of conquest, exploitation will end in the next century at least, because those times of only one group of people are powerful is going to go away. Just imagine, I'm just saying, this is a wrong way to say things, I know it's a wrong way, but I'm telling you. Suppose all the countries in the world had thermonuclear bombs, who is going to fight war with whom, I'm asking?
Mutually assured destruction?
No, that is also possible, unfortunately. Otherwise, right now we call nuclear deterrent. People who are nuclear powered, we don't attack each other because we know where it'll go. At least that much sense still there is. If we lose that sense, of course it'll be a great disaster. But otherwise, it becomes a kind of status quo. Once it becomes a status quo, what will you do with your militaries? What will you do with your investments? When everybody has it, nobody is going to fire it, all right, because then everybody will fire it. So I'm not saying this is the way to fix the world. Unfortunately, by deterrent we are fixing the world. We should have fixed the world by enlightenment. If not enlightenment, at least acceptance. If not acceptance, at least a certain sense of inclusiveness for mutual survival. But we are going to fix the world by deterrent. It's a sad way, but still, somewhere a realization will come that me attacking you is not going to be beneficial for me. All these years we are under the impression if I attack you, I can take what you have and that's it.
One would have thought that after the COVID pandemic, the era of wars would be over and one would think that people have more respect.
That is wishful thinking. You think human beings are that sensible?
Guruji, I want to ask you this, you said that about going to temples. You build the temples and you don't find the need at times, you said that, because you can do the dhyana. Now, you tell me that why are temples important in that case? What is the difference about praying in, say, a riverside? If you feel the energy, you feel it in a temple, you feel it. What does the idol mean then? And why does it need to be consecrated? How is an idol which is inside a Shilpikar's home different from an idol which is in a temple? And how is my worship different if I'm sitting by a river as compared to in a temple?
See, you're using a word that iconoclasts use. It's not an idol, it's a deity.
Deity, okay.
All right, it's a big difference. It's a deity. Why something has become a deity is because, see, it's like this. You're holding a computer or
Yes,
iPad? iPad. All right, let's call it a laptop. Right now it's on your lap. It's a laptop.
Yes, bye.
Where this laptop comes from? Something we dug out of this planet and made a laptop out of it, isn't it? The earliest people, the greatest invention or discovery that they had was, they could make a pot out of this soil. People think, what, pot and computer are same? Pot is much more than a computer for the times. When you had no container to even hold a little bit of water, if you want to drink water in the middle of the night, you had to go to the river, lake or pond. Just a burnt pot in your house, what a difference it would have made, just imagine. Imagine that day when somebody made a pot out of soil, what difference it made. Now out of the same material, you are making a computer or an iPad or whatever you call it. It's the same material. So, the same material can be just the soil that you walk upon, the food that you eat, the pot that you make, and the computer or spacecraft that you make. Everything that we have made has come out of this, including yourself. So, what you make out of the same material could be of various levels of application and intensity of existence. So, what you call as an idol, it may be stone, it may be metal to start with, but by infusing the right kind of energy into it, it will become a phenomenal process. When I say phenomenal process, because I'm saying this because wherever you go around the world, people have this thing. There are books written and some of these books are textbooks in some of the countries, unfortunately. Hindus are crazy, they have some 3 million gods and goddesses. There is only one God. See, the important thing is, one God is made up by human mind. But creation is not made up. A blade of grass is not made by you or me. Soil is not made by you or me. The sky or the cloud or the tree is not made by you or me. So, creation is the reason why you're trying to imagine a creator.
Okay.
If there was no creation, would you think of a creator? Meaningless, isn't it? Because there is creation and such exuberant and unbelievable level of imagination, if you extend your imagination to the ultimate, still your imagination cannot touch the way creation is. That too only one part of… little part of creation we have seen, which is the planet. We've not seen anything else much. We have only seen tiny speck. In that speck, what is there? Your imagination, if you stretch it to the limit, you still cannot imagine how many creatures are there crawling upon your body, in your face, on the soil. Microorganisms are just in trillions and trillions, all right? So, they are all making up life. Your imagination cannot stretch to the extent that they go. So, when this is the case, it is only because of the magnificence of the creation, you are imagining a creator. Being a human being, you think creator must be in the human form. That is your idea. But the fact is, a blade of grass was here even before you came. I mean to say, you as a human being appeared on this planet. Even before that there was creation and there was no creator. Creator came only because human beings wondered, where does the lightning come from? Where does the thunder come from? Where does the rain come from? How does it happen? So there must be some bigger human being doing all this. This is a human idea. But creation was always there. You didn't make it, I didn't make it. So every piece of creation is throbbing with the source of creation, otherwise it wouldn't happen. A seed cannot become a tree, just like that. The intelligence of creation is there. So it is… you can separate creation and creator if you want for your understanding, but in reality you cannot separate it. You are throbbing right now from within as a life only because the source of creation is throbbing within you. If you eat a piece of bread, it becomes a human being. Can you take a piece of bread in your hand and make a human being out of it? No. Only because source of creation, the intelligence that you refer to as source of creation is in function, that's why. So when we saw this, if you show me a leaf, I will do this. You take me to Ram temple, I do this only. If I see you also, I did this only. If you show me a donkey, I will do this, not only to a cow, even to a donkey. Even if you show me a microorganism in some computer, some microscope, I will do this only. If you show me an atom in an electron microscope, I will do this only because…
Is that because you are Sadhguru? Is it because you're Hindu? Is it because you're Sanatani? Is it because you're Indian? Why do you do that?
I do that because I have realized that the source of creation is throbbing in every piece of creation. As a culture, we imparted this to common people also. Knowingly, unknowingly, they made it their Samskriti, that if you see something, you do this. You go to temple also, go do this only, nothing else. You see a man, woman, child, animal, you do this only because you recognize the source of creation. There is no better way to live. So instead of saying, source of creation or God is up there. See, first of all, do you believe planet is round or flat?
Round.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
No, because in Bangalore they think it's flat, that's why I'm saying. So, planet is round. It's also spinning? It's spinning. So, if you look up, you're always looking up in the wrong direction because you do not even know what is up or down in this cosmos, do you know? Is it somewhere written this side up? You do not know what is up or down, but you know who is up there. Well, if you ask three questions, everything that you believe will collapse. I won't ask all the three, I'm only asking one question, do you know what is up or down? Do you know?
No.
You don't know,
Yeah.
then what are you looking up for? This is why what you call as Sanatan, today what is being labeled as Hinduism, is just about this. No looking up, no looking down, looking inward. Because your whole experience of life is only encapsulated within you. See, you can't experience what's happening here. You cannot experience what is here. Please look at this. Right now you think you're seeing me sitting here. No, no, no. Light is falling upon me, reflecting, going through your lenses, inverted image in the retina. Where do you see it now? Where are you seeing me? Within the firmament of your mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're hearing me, where are you hearing me? Within you. Where have you seen the whole world? Only within you, isn't it? So the basis of your experience is you. You don't have any other context. You can imagine what you want. But the basis of your experience is just within you, nowhere else. When this is the case, you look at this, that, when everything excites you and when you see even a leaf is carrying the source of creation, a worm and an insect carries the source of creation, but you can't, if you dissect the worm, you will not see it there. Then what is the thing that you do? You turn inward. This is the culture.
I come back to my question, if it is inward, if I have to find my peace, my solace, my God
No, I'm not talking
inside.
about those things. Why are you not at peace, I'm asking? And why do you need solace?
No, when I say it's me, I meant
I
generally
understand.
that people then
No,
go to
I'm
temple.
asking the same question to everybody. Why is it that you're not peaceful? Why is it that you need solace? What's wrong with you?
Everybody has some stress
No,
or
we'll
the
come
other,
to
anxiety.
that. We'll come to that, everybody. Why?
As an individual, coping with life causes anxiety.
What's wrong with your life? You came with nothing and you're doing fine, I see.
Right. To get the…
No, I'm asking you a
get it.
simple question.
You're going to go through psychotherapy on my
No,
own show.
this is not psychotherapy. See, when you were born, did you come with all the things that you have today?
Not at all.
No. Then you're doing great.
Yeah.
Whether you have 1 rupee or 1 crore or 100 crores or whatever you have, you're still doing great because you didn't come with a coin hanging around your neck. So you're doing fine. What is your problem?
People do ask you
No,
this,
that's
right?
what I come to that first. So the problem is this, you've been given an intelligence which you don't know how to handle, that's all your problem is. If we remove half your brain, you will be so peaceful, you won't need solace, you won't need peace, you won't need temple, you won't need heaven. So the problem is evolution, that you evolved into such a possibility. Any possibility which is not harnessed is a problem. That's all human beings are going through. That is what Sanatana Dharma is about. Let me put it in the context. What we call as yogic sciences, 112 methods of how to attain to your ultimate nature, a mass application of that is Sanatana Dharma. When you do mass application, there is a certain amount of distortion and a certain amount of, dilution. It's inevitable, we know that. Once you do any mass application, some dilution and a little bit of distortion is bound to happen. That is why we set up two ways. One is absolute, another needs to be corrected every generation. No other culture on the planet has this wisdom. We have Shruti and Smriti. This means one is absolute, that you cannot change because those are the fundamentals. Rest of it we have to correct every generation. As the context changes, you have to adjust that. Right now, we are losing it in many ways because in competition or because of the conquest that happened, we think anyway always it is natural for human mind to think anybody who conquers us, anybody who rules us is superior to us. In that sense, we try to imitate them. It's time to roll that back. We don't have to imitate anybody because if you present this properly, The future generations will only go for this. You don't have to call it Sanatan, you don't have to call it Hindu, because then they think you're imposing your stuff on them. We are not imposing, we call this Sanatan. Sanatan means what? Eternal. Can anything be eternal without being all-inclusive?
It's considered divisive by a large section of
Can
people.
anything be eternal without being all-inclusive?
That is an interpretation of Sanatan, that it is inclusive, it is
No, not an interpretation.
eternal.
I'm just
Just
talking
the
about the word
literal
meaning.
word.
Word
Okay.
meaning.
Yeah.
If you say something is Sanatan, it also has to be naturally all-inclusive, isn't it? So this is why you can believe in what I believe and be a part of me. But I don't believe a damn thing. So you can believe whatever you believe and still be a part of me. You can be against what I believe and still be a part of me. In the same house, 5 people are worshipping 25 different gods, and there's no problem. Your neighbor is worshipping a different god for last 1,000 years and we have no issue, because this is not about this versus that. It's only this and this. This is the way the universe is made. This is not our idea. Sanatana Dharma is not our idea that we made up. By observing the nature of life, by observing the nature of the universe, we said this is how it functions. To what extent can we be like that? That's the effort.
When you talk about correction, there are many who feel that the introduction of secularism in our country is something which was a correction on the path that the country was, which was the Sanatan path. Do you think that India is secular, should be secular, or it's time to roll back that too?
I wouldn't mind if it's secular, but we are not secular because all our temples are held in the government hands. Governments are managing Hindu temples. How can it be secular? It must be a theocratic state, unfortunately, which we don't want. Because the Sanatana Dharma or Hindu way of life cannot be done by force. It can only be done by bringing you to a higher level of understanding. It cannot be done by force to you, because there's nothing to force. We don't have an instrument of force in our hands. See, if I have one god, this is my god. If you don't believe, I'll shove it down your throat. That is force, but I don't have. If I say God is like this, if you say, no, this column, this stone column is my god, I have no problem, I will also bow down. If you say, no, my god is coconut tree, I'm okay with that. If you say my god is a bird, I'm okay with that. So how do you force it? You can't force it. There are no instruments of force. Essentially, this is not absolutism, because life is not absolutism. Unfortunately, the religion as the world understands today is absolutism.
You said that if somebody tells a Hindu that, okay, this pillar is God, or it says this book is God, you'll bow before it. There's also, which you yourself have said many times, that Hindus are mooka pranis. that we are not assertive enough. Is that the case?
No, the problem is, see, you must understand how this civilization evolved, why we are called Hindu. We live in a land which lies between Himalayas and Hindu Sagara. Hindu. It is Hindu. The land that lies between this, geographically we are Hindu. Across the world, people called us Hindustan. Even today, if you go to Lebanon, Syria, that whole region, even Palestine, there are many women particularly who are named as Hind. Hundreds of them, I know them, hundreds of them. There must be thousands of them. They're called Hind because Hind was the ideal. Hindustan was the ideal for everybody at that time in the world, because it was the most evolved way of looking at life. It was not me versus you. You can be the way you want and still I'm excited about you. Because you think a coconut tree is God, I'm very excited about that. I want to understand, how did coconut tree become your God? Maybe a coconut fell on your head and I don't know how, but I want to know.
You're twisting the Newton and the apple to coconut and the South Indian.
If he was in South India, of course he would
He
have seen the coconut falling, right? So, we don't know what he saw, that's not the point. The important thing is this, that there are no instruments of force in a Hindu's hand. So that's why he doesn't talk. And above all, because we were protected by the Himalayan ranges and by the Indian Ocean, which was Hindu Sagara, we became a bit complacent. We invested in spiritual process, mathematics, astronomy, music, all kinds of aesthetics. But we did not create enough fighting men because there was no fighting except some local skirmishes that were happening here and there. There was no major fighting. But once people learned how to find the passes in the Himalayan mountains and cross over, probably it's part of global warming that the amount of snow in the passes became less and they could cross, I don't know, possibly. So they managed to cross. Once they crossed, the people who came were bandits, a few hundred men. They came only to loot, rape and run away. But they saw people were so docile, they became emperors. So that continues in us because somewhere deep inside, we think something will protect what we are. There is a truth to it, but at the same time, when times change, our responses have to change accordingly. If we don't change, we will regret this. And the problem is, we are so happy with how we are right now in any given moment. I'm not saying as a nation or as a culture, but individual people. If they had their breakfast, they're so grateful and full of devotion for the God who provided this breakfast for them. They forgot. Day before yesterday, they were looted, raped, murdered. They forgot that and went on. This has also been a wonderful survival process because no other culture which has been invaded and occupied for nearly 1,000 years has retained even a little bit of their form. Look at North America, look at South America, look at Africa, look at Australia. Wherever people went and conquered, their entire original indigenous cultures were wiped out completely. This is the only place where we still largely retain this. Though much destruction and distortion has happened, we've largely retained this because this is relevant, this is an observation from life. This is not invented in human mind. What you call as Sanatan is an observation. We observe how creation is happening and we are seeing how to make ourselves in tune with it. This is why we call Bharata. Bharata means Bhava, Raga, Thala. Bhava is our experience. See, right now, you know you're sitting here only because there are sensations, isn't it? There are sensations in the body. There are sensations created by chemical processes that happen within us. So, bhava is the basis. If you lost all sensation, you don't know whether you're here or not. So, bhava is the basis of your existential experience. Raga is the tune, which is not our making, it's the creation. Thala is you have to find the right rhythm for the tune, then only you ride the process of life. Otherwise, the same process of life which is wonderful for one person, another person feels crushed by that ride.
Sadhguruji, the question starts on secularism, you bring in Bharata's Natya Shastra.
It is all secularism only I'm talking.
And now and national security also comes in when you talk about when you talk about how we have to build our defenses.
See, this is the whole thing. This is the most important thing. Because we are a homogeneous nature, we don't think of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
We developed our minds. You look back at the sages and saints of this nation, our sages and scientists were not separate. Our sages and mathematicians were not separate. Our sages and musicians were not separate. Because this is the way. Even here in this is a home school where you are. Here, the school starts during the monsoon season. Here monsoons are heavy. We take them out in the rain. Then we tell them, see, rain is coming. What is it? Oh, rain, water is falling. So the biology of rain, the chemistry of rain, the economics of rain, the politics of rain, because the whole country runs on monsoons, whether we recognize that or not. Even in the parliament, there's a monsoon session. That means a lot of fury.
So, I will come to national security because you did come to that part. And it's a question that I've asked many people because we are positioning ourselves as Vishwamitra in the world, something that existed. Not the sage Vishwamitra, no, as the term Vishwamitra, and there is the Vishwaguru. So are these in conflict with each other? Can we be a friend of countries which are desperately in need for a voice of especially the global south. Nobody wants to be their voice. Can we be a mitra to these countries? And can we, at that point of time, how do we keep ourselves away from the arrogance maybe ascribed to ourselves when we call ourselves the Vishwaguru? A Vishwaguru, not the.
Not the.
Yeah.
Why maybe the? See, when has it ever happened that among the top economic group, the topmost is G7, the next level is G20. When has it happened? People who are in the top want to include those who are right at the bottom. We brought African nations into G20. When has it ever happened in the history of this world, I'm asking? So Africa is not a nation, it's a continent with over 52 or 54 nations, I believe. And it's in abject poverty, most of them. Though they're resource rich, last 2 centuries have been a history of exploitation, and it continues even today in many ways. If you bring them into G20, do you know what that means? They are sitting among the same committee of nations. That's not a small thing. If you are not a I refuse to use that word because Vishwamitra means something else to everybody.
Yes, that's true.
If you are not a Vishwaguru, how would you include them? Why would you even think of including them? Because right now, the whole world is looking at Africa as resource, but they want it minus the people, unfortunately.
Yeah. You mentioned about people who believe in the earth being flat, or that one book governs it, or my God is the only God. You were in UAE some time ago, and people from different faiths, where the majority religion is not doesn't subscribe to Hinduism, whereas you are seen as a Hindu, a Sanatani.
Not really. I'm not seen that way.
I would think
no, I would want to… this is what I'm trying to differentiate. If you are a Sanatani, genuinely, not by belief, because Sanatana is not a belief, the eternal nature of creation, which today modern scientists are saying the cosmos is an endless cosmos. Something that's endless is also eternal in some way, at least in our understanding and experience. If you say 100 million years, it's eternal for us, all right? Maybe there is an end, we don't know, but at least in our experience, understanding our intellectual breadth, it is eternal.
But they bow to you. How does that happen, Sadhguruji? Because they are not supposed to bow before a human.
They know I even bow to a donkey, so it's easy for them to bow to me.
Because their religion teaches them not to bow to a human, and you are a human form.
Maybe I'm not so much of a human being.
What do you see yourself as?
Well, I'm a piece of life which is working well for myself and everybody around me, so it's good.
So do you see a hurdle when they come to you? People of the Christian faith, the Muslim faith.
Common people have always never liked that hurdle. They may not have the articulation to express it, they may not have a discerning intellect to clearly define it, see it clearly that these hurdles are not good for me. But it is in the nature of the human being to want to cross all boundaries. See, look at it simply like this. Let us look at it in a very materialistic way. Wherever a human being is right now, because everybody is talking about economy, let's take money. How much money would be enough money for somebody?
To have that kind of a wedding which you went to, Sadhguruji, that would be, I guess, a level which many Indians are looking at.
That's all?
No. Personal wealth, yeah.
That is all, is it? No. If you reach there, you'll want more. Because it is not about money, it's that you want something more. If you have that see, whatever it is, currency may be different for different people. Because somebody has reached a certain level of wealth, you think that's a problem. Suppose you are A and I, would you not want to become A and W? You get me?
Yes, yes.
Or A and G, global.
We're actually Asian News International, it is not India. Yeah, I am kind of ambitious.
ANU,
Yes.
universe?
Yes, universe. Why
Yes,
not?
so I'm saying, wherever you are, whatever your currency, you want to be something more. Somebody knows money, they want more. Somebody who knows wealth, they want more. Somebody has knowledge, they want more. Somebody has love, want more. Somebody has pleasure, they want more. So this is in the nature, intrinsic nature of the human being. There is something within you which always wants to breach the boundaries in which you are and be something. The greatest joy that you have is when you breach some boundary. Please see this.
Really?
Yes.
I would think that you want to reach a limitlessness.
That's what I'm saying. At this stage of this thing, you're trying to break boundaries and go, all right?
See, Sadhguru, you
Limitless is just a abstract word, you
Word,
don't know what
that's
it
true.
is.
Correct.
You only see the limitations, you want to break that.
break that.
See, right now you're watching a cricket match. 99 is a good number. Why only 100 is jumps?
Yeah, you're putting…
You broke the boundary, something
Yeah.
that most people don't cross, all right? So again, 175 is a good number. Why only 200 you will jump? Because every time you break a boundary, there is a small experience of liberation. You are seeking mukti, but you are going in installments. If you are coming to me, you are coming to me as a journalist. If you come to me as a spiritual aspirant, I would say don't go at life in a constipated manner, little by little.
Go right.
You can go right away. But because people are going step by step, every time they break one limitation, there is joy. There is a certain exuberance to life. So what you call as success, what you call as wealth, what you call as any kind of, achievement in the world is essentially breaking a boundary, isn't it? What's wrong with that? Somebody has broken the boundary, everybody is commenting about it. They're not commenting about the success, they're commenting about that they don't have it.
With elections coming up in 60-odd countries, I think many of them will come to you with the same thing. The anxiety of, countries going to polls. When 60 countries go to polls, that means there will be tumult in the world this year. It is a question of governments changing, policies changing, programs changing, and you do so much for the environment and things like that. You're going to so many of these summits where you are invited to ask your opinion on how to make this planet a better place. When there is tumult happening, what do you see
Why
the
do you
future?
say a tumult? So you must understand, we shifted from monarchy and autocratic ways of ruling the world to democratic ways. The most important aspect of democracy is power can change without bloodshed, without blood flowing on the streets. Otherwise, every time there was a power shift, there was blood. So democracy is that where without bloodshed we can change. So I don't see it as a tumult. It's only those who are losing the elections are in a certain turmoil. That's understandable. That happens even if you're taking 10th standard exams. Those who fail are in turmoil.
Correct. So, when you say that, when we talk about democracy, let me get to that. What kind of democracy works for India, do you feel? Because if you read the Western media, Sadhguruji, and the Western media feels that this having a strong government in India just means slide of democracy. And they blame the Indian media, saying that the Indian media believes in this strong democracy, which is just benign autocracy.
See, I don't want to make a general comment about media as such, but we must understand media and journalism from being a profession of dedication and passion towards, wanting to report when it was new, I believe. Probably journalism as a profession, I don't think it's more than 150 years old or maybe 200 years old. It's not the oldest profession, I'm saying.
No, thank God for that.
So, this wanting to report what is happening beyond that hill to these people is like somebody saw something happening there, came over the hill and told us here, the amount of excitement, it seems that's what is happening that side. So it was such an exciting this thing to bring that news. And of course, they always exaggerated. For example, when the Spanish people went to America, I'll call them journalists. They might not have been professional journalists, but they're in a way
Okay.
journalists.
Yeah.
There's chroniclers. The chroniclers were journalists in a way. That way, if you look at it, a few thousand years they have been there. So they came back and said, all the Native American people have such a large tail which is this thick and this long. When they want to sit on the ground, they have to dig a hole and sit, otherwise they cannot sit. And everybody in Europe believed that people in America have long, big tails, solid tails like that. So I'm saying, because when they brought it, there was no way to cross-check it. It was ultimate. See, right now, whatever Megasthenis says in his book, we take it as an ultimate journal. Whatever Huan Sang says or many other foreign travelers say, it's ultimate. Whatever the local people have written is not of much value because whatever, we went through a conversion. We did not do religious conversion, we did cultural conversion. We became English. See, both of us are talking in English.
In English, true.
All right? We became English, we got converted. So because of that conversion, we always think something foreign is always more true than something that is local. This disease we have, we need to, disinfect ourselves from that.
Interesting. So fake news is not new, right? Fake news happened long ago.
News has always been largely fake. That's why people are always dependent on gossip.
You've been a target of fake news, and you know about how AI is going to impact upon our lives. None of us know it, but you know the impact it has already created. Are you fearful of it? Do you feel that one should embrace it?
You're talking about gossip or about artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence.
No, I'm very excited about artificial intelligence. When I was 13 years of age, I wanted artificial intelligence. Shall I tell you my first experience?
Yes, please.
I was in 8th standard at that time. I was in 9th standard. And somebody brought a flatbed calculator. We had never seen one till then. We come from that time. You're a young woman.
I'm not
me.
going to say yes. You're going to
I know.
date me.
I already said you're a young woman, all right?
But I know what you mean, yes.
So, somebody brought a flatbed calculator. Those days, calculators were only either Panasonic or Sony. Sony is very expensive, 125 rupees.
Yeah.
Panasonic, you could get it for 90 rupees. That too, you must go in a stealthy manner to that always basement shops which are called Burma bazaars or
Yes, correct.
whatever. You have to go under, you have to hold your cash in your hand like this, look like this, look like that. Does anybody look like a policeman or not? When nobody is looking, you give it to him, that guy just gives it to you like this. You stuck it in your trousers and come away. I didn't buy it, I went with some people who were buying. So first time I see a calculator, they say, look at this man. And took 363 into 18. I looked at it, first instance, the first number that came, I felt insulted. I said, when there is a machine like this, why are they torturing me in the arithmetic classes? Why don't they make a machine like this for physics, chemistry, nonsense, every other nonsense they're asking me to learn which I'm not interested in?
Yeah. The Pythagoras theorem, we must have
Whatever.
talked about it. Yes.
Everything is here, why? I said, we must make a machine. But nobody made a machine when I was studying. Now at least it's coming, it's fantastic. And I'm glad it's coming. So essentially, what you're calling as artificial intelligence is machine learning. I have always been saying this in this context, see, whatever your intellect is a machine, because it functions only on data. This is what we call as karma. It's the data that you have gathered is playing out. You don't understand how it's playing out because you have gathered so much data. Data gathering is not conscious. See, if you walk from here to there will be 50 different kinds of sounds. But all of them will not register consciously in your mind, but all of them are recorded. You may just notice only that which is very loud or that which is very beautiful or that which is very ugly, you will notice that. Rest of it you don't, but all of it is recorded. So it is from this huge data, the amalgamation of that becomes your expression, becomes you. You are who you are only because of the memories that you carry, isn't it? conscious and unconscious memories. If I take away your memories, there is no Smita here, gone. Yes or no? It's gone.
Yes.
It's only the memory. The whole spiritual process is about this. What you can do from your data is just a mechanical job. You are making a big deal about it because I'm in a school, I should not say this, any of the teachers here. If you read 3 books, you can become a school teacher. If you read 10, you can become a professor in a university. If you just read 1, you can become an agent of God. So this I've never valued. I read none, so people are calling me a mystic.
That's not true. That's not true. You're underselling yourself. Tell me, but this criticism does happen that Sadhguruji doesn't talk from the Vedantas. He doesn't
Definitely
talk
not.
from the, yeah.
100% not.
Yeah. So he's
first-
not the real. You're not the real thing.
No, they're missing the whole point. They're misunderstanding plagiarists as real. Somebody who reads a book and talks that is plagiarism, isn't it? I read no book. If somebody says this is not what is in a book, I will say, please correct the book. Because my own clarity has never failed me, not once. Because I don't allow data to interfere with the clarity of what I see.
And is that why people come to you in
No, this
hundreds
is
of thousands
this is
come
the-
every day to meet you
this-
because of this? Because
Of
you
course,
awaken-
clarity. Clarity is the only thing. See, this is the basis of this culture and this civilization. You always called your most worshipful people as seers, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does seer mean? He sees. And why is it that you don't see? Because you are too much data.
So are you a seer? Are you a guru? Are you a mystic? What are you then? What should I… I mean, everybody knows you as Sadhguru, but what are you then?
See, Sadhguru means this, the definition. You must understand it's not a title, it's a description. See, suppose you want your eyes tested. Do you go to an orthopedic?
No,
No, right?
no.
So, when somebody says, I'm an orthopedic, you go there only if your bones are bothering you. If somebody says he's an ophthalmologist, then you go because your eyes are troubling you. So, similarly, you don't go to a Sadhguru to learn about Vedas, Upanishads and any other book because he's read none of them. You don't go to him because you want to understand the tradition or ritual or this and that because he doesn't know any damn thing. He knows only one thing. I know only one thing. I know this piece of life from its origin to its ultimate. That's all I know. And fortunately, every other life is made the same way as me. When I talk about myself, they think I'm talking about them. So this is a secret, don't tell anybody.
But when you say that I haven't read it, I don't know, but there are many practices like, in the temples which are here, inside the Isha Foundation, there are rituals, there are processes.
The main
which are
temple
happen-
has no ritual. Silence is the only ritual.
Yes, but the lighting of the lamp, that itself becomes a ritual, no?
Lighting of the lamp, if I turn on a switch, it's a religion, is it? If I turn on an electric lamp, would you call it a religion?
So you are completely bifurcated from religion? How
No,
can
let's
that
come
be?
to that. If I turn on a electric light, will you call me what Christian is it? I'm asking.
I'm asking because they are the diyas.
No,
which
if
you're
I look
lighting.
at the moon tonight, today is the last day, you will see a sliver of a moon, tomorrow
Yeah.
you'll be absent. If I look at the moon, you will call me Muslim?
If you look at the moon on a particular day and break a
Arey, I look at
fast,
it every
then we will.
day. I look at it every day and every day I break fast. So I'm
How am I
100%
going
Islamic.
to pin you down? You're Islamic.
You can say that. So because I light a lamp, I belong to a religion, what does it mean?
If you fast during Lent, then you're a Christian. Are you that?
See, if I fast any time of the day, you see in this culture, we have days of fasting in a month. I don't go by that, I go by my body. Today if I feel my body doesn't need food, I don't eat. See, right now, I got this vehicle parked here. Today if I drive 1,000 kilometers, I may fill the tank 3 times. Tomorrow it's parked. Do I fill it 3 times? Stupid, isn't it?
So you fast then?
I don't fast, I don't fill the tank because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
See,
The
what
part
you do with awareness of your body, when you don't know, this is why I said, what is done as a yogic science, when mass application happens, little dilution and distortion will happen. If I tell you whenever you see the body doesn't eat, don't eat, but you are busy, news is happening for you, you don't notice what's happening in the stomach. You know that morning means I must eat breakfast, afternoon means lunch, night means dinner. So we say, this day of the month, don't eat. That's not the best way to do. The best way to do is, when is the Ekadashi in your body? But people don't know, so we fix it, Ekadashi on this planet is on this day, don't eat on that day. Similarly, other cultures fix, because throughout the year they eat some 30-40 days, they break it. It's a very good thing to do. Whether God is not pleased whether you eat or you don't eat, that's your problem. But if you don't eat for periods of time, if you give a break to this body, a lot of good things will happen to you.
when we talk about yogic science, which you claim, there are many who say that traditional medicines cure chronic diseases. Do traditional medicines, does yoga cure chronic diseases? And how do you counter the claims that this is fakeness?
Well, there are millions and millions of people. See, whatever you call as science is just this. You observe a certain phenomena, and the phenomena is repeatable, and you can cause it when you wish. That means it becomes a scientific law, isn't it? So you bring me 1,000 people, I will show you the phenomena is… Let me tell you this. This happened about 2.5 years ago, I think. Yeah. A man came, he is in his 70s. He has come here and staying for 3 weeks, I did not know. Then he sent a note to me saying that he was, to start with, he was with JK, you know, J. Krishnamurti. Then he was with the other Krishnamurti in Bangalore, UG Krishnamurti. Then he was with Anandamayi Ma. Then he was with Rajneesh. Then he was with some Western teachers in Europe. And then he is here for 3 weeks and he said he wants to see me. I said, okay, looks an interesting person, let me see. Then he said, I've been to all these places, each one of them has enriched my life in some way. And it's been a wonderful experience for me to go to all these people. But you are the only one who has created a spiritual factory.
Oh.
I said, what is that? He said, I've been watching for these 3 weeks. People come in, busloads of people, they go into some program, 3 days, they come out, all of them are bursting in ecstasy, screaming and jumping around, all like that. One after another, there are 6 to 8 halls where everywhere programs are happening. I thought, wow, this is a great thing. I called a few people just like that and I said, I think we should rename Isha Yoga Center as Isha Spiritual Factory.
They must have got a stroke listening to you.
Because this is an assembly line. Whoever comes, you put them through a certain process, they go with a certain sense of exuberance and joy.
It's seen negatively, no? Factory line.
That is what I'm saying. Factory is not negative because people have crooked ideas in their head. Factory means what? Efficiently you deliver a product without fail, all right? This is an assembly line. So this is a spiritual assembly line or a factory. We have evolved certain methods. You put somebody through that, they will come out in a certain way, with slight variations, but almost the same
But what
thing.
about the chronic ailments? Like if I, God forbid, but if I have cancer, would I go to a spiritual guru to cure me or would I go to an allopathic doctor? What should a person do? Because there are many who say
cancer, you're taking the extreme
to
step.
extreme step, yes, of course.
If somebody comes with cancer, first thing I tell them, just go to the hospital, get yourself treated. For recovery, because the treatment itself is so aggressive, you need a recovery time. For that you come, we'll help you out. There have been people who have come out of their cancer by doing certain internal things, but that is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
For some, it'll work, very rarely it'll work. Otherwise, go through the treatment because treatments have come to a certain level of sophistication now, but it damages the body overall.
Yeah.
That we can handle.
So this holistic health…
See, holistic health is not to get sick. Holistic health does not mean we'll cure the sick.
Okay.
It's to help you so that you don't get sick. If we… suppose we got all the children on the planet at the age of 8, 8 to 15, they were with us, let's say. We'll teach them certain simple things, what to eat, how to sleep, how to wake up, how to breathe, everything. If you do this, I will guarantee you, this is my guarantee, 100%, that at least 60 to 70% of the chronic ailments on the planet will disappear.
Do people who come to your foundation here, they have grown up, say, in a different religious background? They come in, I can see all around me, people have come from different nationalities. They've taught a different mindset. Are they absorbing to your thing, or do you see divisions, barriers
No,
when they
not
come?
at all. You see, they are very much apart. There are, see, different culture. There are many people. Because you said they are of a different mindset. So now here, there is no Sadhguru mindset. First thing is he doesn't have a set mind. And he wants to make sure nobody has a set mind. Because a set mind is a concrete block. That's not the way you're supposed to keep your mind. Here, if I sit here, you're here, I'm talking, and as usual, I've come without 1 minute of preparation.
Yeah.
You can see that ignorance is coming out in so many
No,
ways.
that's not it. You really undersell yourself, don't you?
Huh?
You
No,
really undersell yourself.
I've never sold myself.
Huh.
So where is the question of underselling myself?
Or some would think that there is an overkill because you open social media, you're there everywhere. You're dancing, you're singing, you're giving, telling people how they can improve their lives, you're laughing, you're cracking jokes,
No, I'm
you're
just
pulling somebody's
I'm just
leg.
living and somebody's recording.
Okay.
Even now, I'm just living, you asking me, I'm talking. If I simply sit here, I can sit here, not with any effort, not meditating like this. If I sit here, there's not a single thought in my mind, I'll simply be here.
Is that a more exalted state to be in?
See, I don't want to put it that way. I don't want to make it difficult for people, oh, it's some high level to get there. No. It is the simplest thing. You were doing this as a child. When you were a child, you sat like this. You drank the creation, isn't it? You didn't think, what is this coconut tree? How much money can I make out of it? No, you just looked at it and drank it. Not the coconut water, the tree itself.
Well, there are two ways of looking at it. There is one school of thought which says that children come blank and ideas come into their head and views come into their head. The other one is we come with the gyan which of our previous birth, of God or wherever creation was. There are two ways of looking at it. And then it gets polluted in this earth.
See,
Which one
because-
would you prescribe?
No, because everybody is overly influenced by European thought. So they say schools of thought. I don't care what your thought is, because your thought is just a permutation, combination, expression of the data that you hold. We've already looked at it. This is why all those people, you know, before COVID, they were all inviting me to many artificial intelligence conferences. I was in St. Petersburg, I was called there, and artificial intelligence. I said, why are you guys inviting me to artificial intelligence? I'm not a technology person, and I'm definitely not artificial. They said, no, Sadhguru, all academics and these kind of people, what will we do after this? We'll have no employment. I said, that's the best thing that can happen to the world. Academics, lawyers and others are unemployed, all right? And I don't fear unemployment because I'm always seeking unemployment. I would like to see a world where I'm not needed. Because I'm needed means people are not doing well.
Do you think that that's the reason people call you over? Because to resolve their issues, to solve their problems? Is that why…
See, a whole lot of the world, human beings, don't even understand what is their problem.
True.
Like allopathic medicine, it is only looking at the symptoms. Let's say you got a blue patch here. Now we'll see how to make it pink. That's not the solution. Why something is happening, we must look at it. So, my work is more to make people understand what is the nature of their problem. If they understand what is the nature of their problem, solution is right there.
Sadhguruji, does your glamorous persona overshadow your being as a spiritual person, a spiritual guru? Everybody wants to know
What is so glamorous about
Oh,
me?
come on, Sadhguruji, you're riding a bike, you're riding your jeep, you're walking the red carpet, Diljit Dosanjh. How many should I count?
See, probably people… I don't even know if I should talk about this, but because you asked such a question, for 18, 19 years, I… before that, when I was in business, I created my own kind of fashion. I did my own thing. I dressed very differently from everybody. Before that, when I was a student, I just lived in blue denims and t-shirts. Always. We didn't tear them, it got torn because of riding at the… at the seat and at the knees, and we would patch it up with leather and everything. Because those days it was so hard to get a blue denim. You have to again go to that underground place and look for something. There will be… your waist is 30, they got 40, you bring it home and adjust it and stitch it and somehow wear it, because blue denim was a religion at that time, in 60s.
Yeah.
So, then once I got into business, for some time I was like that, then I saw that I'm not effective as a business person to be in denims. So I created a whole new fashion of my own. That lasted only for 3 years, 4 years. Then I went into teaching. Then I just completely gave up everything because my focus was only on one thing. I never walked into any shop and ever bought anything for myself those 18 years, anything. What people gave, I wore. People gave me… because I knew if I wear any other clothes, I'll be made to wear treacherous clothing according to their tastes. So I shifted to white dhoti and white kurta. But people brought it with some red border, one Lucknowi kurta with green embroidery around it. Without ever… I never looked at myself in the mirror, because anyway I stopped shaving by then. So, I didn't have to look at the mirror, I just shower and leave. So, I was made to wear all kinds of most ridiculous looking clothes. Today I wouldn't touch them. But for 18 years without even… I never suffered that or were bothered about… it never bothered me because my focus was completely elsewhere. Then once certain goals were finished and then we wanted to step into the world, because I didn't think I'll survive that at that time. It looked like my life was going to end at that point, but somehow I survived.
What happened?
My whole system broke down with the consecration of the Dhyanalinga completely, where doctors said, you won't make it beyond 3 months, 2 months, like this. They put me as a blue light emergency in America that I cannot get onto an airplane. So I just wanted to somehow get back, because if this… give the notices, they won't let me fly to India. So, system completely broke down and it was like that, but we rebuilt the system. Then once I saw that now we're going to get active in the world, I not only designed my clothes, I designed myself. You just see how I was speaking before this, how I was doing things, how I looked. If I sit here, nobody would come and sit near me. I don't have to say anything. I'm not an angry person, I'm not yelling or shouting. If I simply sit here, everybody would sit 50 feet away from me. I was reverberating like that, because at that time, that kind of intensity was needed. Once I toned it down, I thought, let me be friendly with the world. No point being just fierce like that, because the work was done. So, I think I wrote a poem about… we lived on the peak, on the edge of the peak for too long. Time to graze the valleys. So this is the valley of my life, this is not the peak of my life. There's a valley. In the valley, when you mingle with people, when you interact with people, you better be in a way that they understand and they feel comfortable. If I sit like this with my eyes glowing, maybe it's impressive, but it doesn't work, I'm saying. So I recrafted myself. That also included my clothes.
Okay.
And my lifestyle and my everything. Nothing has really changed with my lifestyle. It's… people think riding a motorcycle is exotic. That is probably because they're so out of balance. What is exotic about a motorcycle? Most of the population in India is on motorcycles, but…
How many do you see, Sadhguruji, with one flowing beard, one turban, one… kurta and jeans.
Only
and
one you can wear, you will wear
going
two
through
kurtas,
the
is it?
sands of Arabia in one thing, sand blowing on your face. You think it's not exotic? Okay, here you please grant me.
I think it's just life, doing what you can do. If
No,
it's,
no,
if
not.
it's, if
This
it's
year I'm not agreeing
okay,
only.
if it seems exotic to you, fine. If that is your draw, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay, if that is the draw, it's fine with me. As I said, I recrafted my whole persona, my language, my personality, the way I look at people.
That was needed then, the energy to
At
make
that
the
time, my interest was not people, there was just one thing to do.
Dhyanalinga.
Yes. So at that time, people were just consequential. I was not really involved with them in any way. It's now that I'm involved with people, responding to people. People don't ask me only spiritual questions. They will ask me all kinds of things. They even sending me letter, Sadhguru, I want to buy a motorcycle, which one should I buy?
Which is fine with you, right? To
It's
answer
fine
those.
with me. What's wrong? Because most people don't know what to buy. Most people don't know what is what. Actually,
What do rich people
we
ask you?
started shooting it and we kind of gave it up because of lack of time and stuff. I wanted to make a whole series on engines in the world. Because I'm made like this, I'll tell you. Somebody who was running the biggest diesel engine company in the world at that time was with me in Tibet. About maybe 10 kilometers away, on the other side of the mountain, a truck, Dongfeng, which is a Chinese truck, is laboring up the mountain. I listen to it and say, see, it's a big truck, but they put an underpowered engine, it's a 6-liter engine, it's struggling. They're the ones who make that engine. He said, no way you can say that, how can you say that? I said, I'm telling you, it's a 6-liter engine, let the truck come here because it'll take 45 minutes for it to come here. Let it come, then we'll check out. And the truck came, we went and checked, it was a 6-liter engine. He said, how do you do this? Because I listen. I listen, see, this is all I do. I don't think. I'm just paying attention to life, absolute attention.
What do prime ministers and presidents ask you when they come? Like a person like me will tell you, I have anxiety, so tell me how to resolve it, which you figured out, the cause and the effect.
See, prime
Tell me
ministers
the-
and presidents talk to you because they know they can trust you and you won't go and gossip about them.
Okay, give me a hint at least, Sadhguruji. What is it that successful people, okay, let me rewind it and let me ask you, what do successful, highly successful people who take decisions which impact so many people, like they impact billions around the world? When do such, what
You're
do they
saying a
ask?
president or a prime minister.
What do they ask? No, why? Ambani also takes decisions which affect hundreds and thousands and lakhs of people.
Let's not get into names like that.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Every human being, as I said earlier, is only seeing how they can be little more than what they are, how they can be little more effective. Some people are thinking how they can be more of service to people. Some people are thinking how they can become more powerful. Somebody is thinking how they can become richer. Somebody is struggling with their thoughts and emotions. Some are worried about their children, some are worried about something else. But essentially, everybody is seeing how to go one step more in their life. So that
But
is
do
the
they
same…
ask
for
you-
me, that's the same question.
Do they ask you for endorsements, that if Sadhguru endorses, I will get 2 million votes from this region? Do they ask you that?
See, that is… now you are getting very specific, because that can happen only in India. All right, because of that. But it has happened actually, some American, prospective congressmen and others, they wanted endorsement. I said, see, even in India I don't endorse anybody. I'm apolitical that way. I'm not taking any political stance. I'm always willing to work with whoever people elect. If it is with the nation, of course I'm there. I'm not going to stand up. Somebody asked, actually, it was here, I just drove in here and these girls who are doing some project in history or something, those homeschool girls, they stopped me and said, Sadhguru, are you a BJP supporter? I said, see, I'm 2/3 BJP. They asked, what is that? I said, Bharatiya Janata, I'm 100%. Party, no. That's not my business. I have not taken to any parties, I have not been a member of any party or any institution, any club ever Even now, I don't even have a membership of a single golf club, though I play all over the place. So I don't believe in memberships. If they allow me, I play. If they think I'm not, I'm okay.
So you play golf, you dance, you sing. What gives you the most joy?
No, nothing gives me any joy.
Huh?
I'm joyful, so I do all the things that I can do.
Okay, a certain krida activity doesn't give you.
No. Maybe simply sitting here is the best thing for me.
Okay, I'm flattered. I'm hoping that you're saying that
No,
the
no, no, no.
podcast.
I didn't mean the podcast, I'm saying simply
So
sitting.
you can't now take back. Sadhguruji.
All right. Smita podcast is the greatest thing I'm doing in my life.
Amazing. Right. Right. Sadhguruji, let's come to the to where we are as India. We spoke about, just glossly touched about national security. Tell me, you've watched India grow over the years. Today, do you feel that we are at a stage of transformation? And like on global issues, we are at the table. We are asked. Our opinion matters. Where do you see us going in the next 10 years?
See, geopolitics is not as simple as… I see a lot of in social media, everybody saying, oh, India is going to become a superpower in the next 5 years, 10 years. No, definitely India is enhancing itself, and definitely it'll be further enhanced in the next 5, 10 years, no question. A superpower means you're a hegemon. Hegemony doesn't come free. It comes with variety of manipulations. It needs a lot of stuff, it's not simple. Just to give you some sense, there was somebody here from Armenia, he was from Yerevan. We were supposed to drive from Beirut to Yerevan, so we were talking about this through Iraq and everything at that time. Then the war broke out and we gave up that plan. We were supposed to drive from Beirut to Yerevan in Armenia. Culturally, it's one of the richest past, so we wanted to drive through that. That never happened anyway. So this guy from Yerevan, now he's running a restaurant there. He was here with us for more than 2 years or so. So he said he's got some online work to do every day, 4 to 5 hours. Then one day he was walking with me, I just said, what is the kind of work that you do? Then he said he works for the State Department. I said, really, you work for the State Department, what are you doing? His business is this every day. Anything, any news item published in Armenian language about anything political leaders across the world, he just translates all that into English and puts it into the database in State Department. He has a code with which he puts it in. Then is this true for every language? He said, every language on the planet. Then I started checking, how's this? And then I asked somebody who's in the State Department, who's connected with southern India, I said, what do you know about southern India? Oh, we know everything about your leaders and prospective leaders and those who are coming up, those who are going down, everything. I said, what do you know? Tell me something. We know about Vico, he said. I said, who is Vico? Vico. We know about Vico. He's like this, everything he's telling about Vico. So everything that he's spoken, everything Vico has spoken in the last 30, 40 years, these guys have everything in English transcript in their computers.
Wow.
This is power, you understand? So this is just one thing. Like this, there are people who are writing about military affairs, everything that you test, everything that you do, what kind of boots your soldiers wear. Do you understand? Like this, all this is there. When action comes, they have information that you can't imagine. So, being a hegemon in the world is not going to just happen because economically you become number 3 or whatever, all right? But between number 3 and number 2, there is still a huge… we're still 5, but even if we get to 3, which we will, I think in the next four years' time we should get there, still the difference is very, very big. And there are many, many other aspects, I don't want to go into all that.
Are we too divisive to ever become like that and have that singular focus in
I
being
don't think
that?
we should become like that. I don't believe anybody in the world should be a hegemon. But still human beings are in that state of mind and action that if there is no overarching guiding principle or force, I think a lot of people will do absolutely crazy things, unfortunately. So evolving the human being to a more conscious existence is my work. My main work is conscious planet, to create a conscious planet. Planet is already conscious, it's only the human beings.
But we have to be protective of it, shouldn't we?
No, in protection it'll not grow.
But then we will be again subject to invasion, and invasion
No,
doesn't
that yes.
necessarily happen as a geographical
No,
boundary
that's
crossing.
100%. See, one great mistake we've done, which even if I speak 1,000 times, it doesn't get off my mind, is we were referred to as a subcontinent. But what was a subcontinent? We made it into an island nation. Today we are an island nation. Unfortunately, in the past, we called this Jambu Dvipa.
Jambudvipa. Correct.
Because we thought Himalayas were unbreachable. But today, Himalayas are breachable because we fly and everything can be done across Himalayas.
Yeah.
But we became an island by cutting off all the trade routes, both on east and west, with what we called as partition. No nation has ever become really a great nation when their only way to do trade is sea. Right now, that's how we are. We need to change that one way or the other. This doesn't take some genius, because for thousands of years we were trading through these routes, thousands of years. The entire Arabia, the Jerusalem area, Damascus, Europe, everybody was doing trade with us, and Asia, of course, 100% was doing trade with us. They're talking about… I'm talking during Krishna's time, they're discussing trade in Mahabharata. They're talking about 10,000 bullock carts going through the #1 national highway of the day, what is somewhere around Lucknow towards Kalinga, okay? 10,000 bullock carts going in a row. That is the level of trade that was happening internally. If you go to Palmyra, if you go to Aleppo, now unfortunately all these things have been destroyed. I just went there before the war, I drove from Beirut to Damascus and across. And these cities were essentially built by taxing Indian traders. By tax, they built massive cities. Aleppo was such a beautiful city, and now it's all rubble, that's a different matter. 8,000 years old. 8,000 years ago, so much trade should happen means at least 15,000 years ago we started trading, right? So these routes are well known to us, these are trading routes. If this partition was not done in such a crude way, without unthinking of any kind of geopolitical strategic placement of the nation, by now we would have highways and railways running into European capitals, Central Asia, pipelines of gas and petroleum, everything would be on. Today, every drop of gasoline that you use, every drop of diesel that you use has come by ship, refined here, and then you're using it. Do you know the cost of that? If it came in a pipeline from Russia or from anywhere, from Arabia, it would be very, very different. We just can't do it anymore.
And we can't undo partition, so what is the solution?
I don't want to make such statements. There is nothing that can be done or undone, cannot be done or undone. Both can be done and undone.
Are you talking about Akhand Bharat?
No, Bharat.
Which is?
See, if you look at this, what you call as Hindustan was from Armenia, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, eastern parts of Iran, Iraq. Are we going to go get all that? That was all Hindustan at one time, full of temples. In Armenia, I can show you at least 100 temples which were demolished during the Christian era. So this… everybody knows this, people who are there know this. In India, we are kept innocent because our education system has taken care to insulate us so carefully so that we don't develop any sense of grudge or pride about who we are, or who we were at least. So from there up to Borneo, including what is Myanmar today, Indonesia, southern parts of Vietnam, Cambodia, Borneo, all this was Hindustan. Today only 1/3 of that is left, 2/3 is gone. Further losing it is not even an option. So do we need a military? Do we need strength? Of course we need, because we're still living in a world where it's masculine and it's the muscle which tells who is who, all right? Money is also kind of muscle, all right? Economics and military rules the world. You can't say love rules the world, all right? It's stupid. It is wonderful, but it's stupid right now in the present context because whatever we… action should be relevant to the situations in which we exist. Ideals we can have, but action should always be relevant to the situations in which we exist. In the situations that we exist, if you do not have a strong economic power and do not have a strong military force, you will be nothing. There's no question about that.
Right. When we talk about external relations, let me come to the internal security part. What is holding our country together? Because there are many who feel that it is a strong government. Some people feel what holds us together is secularism or pluralism. Some feel that it is because we have Hindutva as our basic tenet. That is why it is there. What holds Indians together?
See, let's look at what has held this civilization together. The same thing is still holding, but if we don't make the necessary work for the present day, that may not hold forever. What is holding us together is this. If you travel to Arabia particularly, because in these places still the memory of ancient Hindustan is still there in the people. If you go to Lebanon, if you go to Baalbek, there is a Phoenician temple. It's a sun temple. But large part of the artwork is done by the Indian sculptors. Indian elephants came. Each foundation stone is over 80 tons and there are no stones on that hill. They all brought it from Egypt. One particular stone that I saw was 400 tons. They brought it across from Egypt to here using Indian elephants, Indian labor, Indian sculptors. Wherever Indians went, in this mandapam it's not there, otherwise there'll be a lotus hanging there.
Yeah.
Arabians won't sculpt lotus because they have not seen a lotus, all right? Lotuses, elephants carved. And the best thing is, there is a Guru Puja stone, 16-cornered, Shodashopachara it's called, 16-cornered Guru Puja stone in Lebanon. Every child in Lebanese schools knows that Indian sculptors, Indian elephants came and built Baalbek 4,200 years ago. Ask one child in any school, have they ever heard anything like that?
I haven't.
Because you were insulated, they were protecting you. That's why I said protection. Protection is not progress.
Right.
A human being should be able to digest the reality, the way it's been. Only then you are prepared for the future. Protection is not progress.
So what is holding us together today?
So what held together is, when people went from here, no matter from which kingdom they went, see, there was Vijayanagar kingdom in the south, there are other kinds of things in the north, east there is the Kalinga and those things. Right from, let us say in terms of written history from Chandragupta Maurya times, there have been many glorious empires which grew and shrank. Generally, one good king, capable king made it grow. For example, the Chola kingdom went right up till there and again shrank in the next 2 generations. The same thing happened everywhere. So this is why this Ashwamedha Yaga and all this is to expand one's influence and power, economic power, military power, everything. No matter which king was ruling in a given generation, the outside people saw us only as Hindustan. What is this Hindustan? Is there a definition? Is it one particular looking god, one particular ideology, one particular… No. My neighbor cooks differently, eats differently. We've lived together for 1,000 years, same families, but he cooks differently. If I go to America, if I go into somebody's house, if I smell the seasoning, I will say, are you Pillai, are you Gaundar, are you Brahmin? I say, Sadhguru, how do you know? It's seasoning, huh? It's so unique.
True.
So they will do it that way only. We lived in neighboring homes, but this woman in this house will do seasoning like this, that one will do like that, that's how it is. So we maintain those distinct identities not as walls, but as a colorful tapestry. This happened because we think differently, we feel differently, we do things differently, but our goal was only one, mukti. Liberation is the only goal. And we are seekers, we are not believers. A seeker means intrinsically you know that you don't know a damn thing. A believer means what you do not know, you have assumed and you concretized it, and now you're trying to make sure everybody else believes it, because if you are the only one believing in something, you look stupid. The moment you have 10,000 people believing the same nonsense, suddenly you are empowered. This is the power of what's been done elsewhere in the world. Here, this is why we are like this, because we know we don't know. What we know, we know. What we do not know, we do not know. And we know what we do not know is super overwhelming compared to what we know. What we know is a minuscule. Tell me, isn't this the same language that today modern sciences are using?
How?
They're also saying what we know is very little, what is do not know is not only not known, it is unknowable.
But isn't this humility the cause for all the invasions which happened?
No, this is not humility, don't brand it like that. This is just simple sense that we know that we do not know. See, the greatest damage…
How can Ajnani be…
that is what. Jnana is knowing that you do not know. Ajnana is thinking that you know. But the nature of the creation is, there is nobody who knows the entirety.
Sure, we're seeking, but it's not… you're not always in a state of zero, then what is the point in seeking?
See, you're asking, will these people be less confident? Confidence is the resort of a fool, an idiot. I am confident means you're trying to bridge your ignorance with a imaginary bridge. See, right now, let's say right now with the sunlight you can see everything. I bring you here in the night, completely pitch dark, we'll switch off everything. Now, you don't know, it's up and down and steps and everything, you cannot see. Now if you confidence, you'll fall flat on your face, yes or no?
Yeah.
You don't have confidence. Why? Because there is no clarity. Instead of seeker means we are seeking clarity, more and more clarity. Instead of seeking clarity, you're seeking confidence. Believing will always give you confidence. Confidence without clarity is the greatest disaster. We were never accused of that. But because we thought Himalayas and Indusagara will protect us forever, some came over the Himalayas and they surprised us. Some came through the ocean and they surprised us. Well, we paid the price for it.
Sadhguruji, one of the things which you say that needs change, which you mention also, is our education system.
100%. Education system doesn't need just a change, it needs a thorough overhaul. Especially now with machine learning. This is something I've appealed to various people in the country. Small changes have happened because still we are under the impression that a half a baby is a half a solution. Half a baby is a nuisance. Half a baby is not a half a solution. No baby, no problem. Half a baby is a nuisance, isn't it?
What is half a baby?
If suppose somebody delivered half a baby and still it's alive, big nuisance or no?
Yeah.
So policies are coming like this, half babies. Because always in a democracy, you have your eye on the next election. This is why it's important, a government has to come with that confidence that it doesn't have to think about next election, it has to think about the country and its well-being. That next election is not my concern, it is important they come to that. Because otherwise we will never make bold policy making. When I say with education, bold policy making is, see right now here in this school, everywhere in the country it's 12 years schooling. Here I made it 13. Because we are investing so much in art, music, leadership, variety of talents for the above all building a good human being, a multi-dimensional human being. If you had only 12 years, by the time they come to 11, 12, parents get marks mad. They want to get into this institution, that institution. These institutions slowly may lead you to mental institutions. Now, I'm not saying this, World Health Organization is saying that there's going to be a mental health pandemic. Who will go into it? Your children, you better know that. Who is going into the asylum in the next few years? It's your children. It's not some strange people. You think always somebody else's children will go. No, it's our children who will go. Does not necessarily mean you as a person, but We're
I know.
pushing the next generation there. What is the problem? The problem is the present education system is like an extruder. Everybody is mixed the same way, put into the same extruder, push it, when they come out, like education factory, like spiritual factory, you know.
I know, I was wondering whether you're going to go there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not doing something blindly. I know what I'm doing, all right?
You seem to be a proponent of one nation, one election, or that we should move
Probably
towards
I was
that.
the first one who said that. I don't
Yeah.
know before that if anybody had said, I had not heard at least. I think I spoke when?
Yeah.
When was this? I don't know, maybe 2008 or
You don't-
something like that, 2008
You
or
do
9.
take bold steps, though you say you're not political, but you do.
No,
a
this is not
political
about
party.
politics, this is about the nation. Let's
Nation,
finish the
correct.
education.
Yeah.
See, when it comes to education, let us say here, this is just a school now, let's say I run a university. I have not gone into that simply because of the number of restrictions. My conscience doesn't allow me to do something that I know is not really working. I will not invest my time and energy in that. Let's say I will teach absolute nonsense and I will charge a bomb. But parents are happy, children are happy. What is the government's business, I'm asking? You think you love the children more than the parents? No government should ever assume that they love the children more than their parents. Parents have the best interest of the children, they may not know many things, but their intention in terms of what should happen to their children is the best that you can think of, right? So, if parents are happy and children are happy, why is it anybody's business?
Standardization, I guess.
What do you want to produce? You want to produce just clerks for your offices? There was a time the education was designed for that purpose. Education was designed mainly to produce clerks because that was the only ambition. Somehow in Her Majesty's service you become a clerk and your life was made. That's how people thought. That is over. Now is the time you must see, first of all, the fundamental purpose of education is to enhance the horizons of an individual, that they can think beyond what they can see right now. If that has to happen, you have to run a totally different type of education and you have to run it in a totally different kind of atmosphere, which is what we're trying to create here. So is this possible that we can do this for 1.4 billion people, their children, I don't know, may add up to some 400 million or something children in the school? I don't know the number, it must be around that, I believe. For 400 million children or 350 million children, can we create those kind of schools? No. So in the name of equality, you're cutting off everybody's legs. Everybody should be 5 feet tall, average, all Indians. If you're 6 feet, we'll cut off 1 foot extra that you have. Is this a solution? In every civilization, in every culture, certain people will always go ahead, either because of their competence or the positions they are placed in or whatever advantage they have. If they don't go ahead, nobody will go ahead. No, you're going ahead of me, that's not right, we believe in equality, so we'll hold you back, we'll all go together. We are not going very far, it's very simple.
Right. Sadhguruji, I'm going to…
If you allow me, if the government allows me today
Huh.
that you start a university and run it whichever way you want, you will see, we'll create a university within 7 to 10 years' time, we'll produce those kind of people that you've not seen.
But the permits and the sanctions and those things will bog you down.
Why should there be a permit for me to educate children? Parents are the permit. The parents feel it's good for their children to be here, that is the permit. Why is the government issuing a permit?
It's the same way as schools, it's the same way as setting up a
So
factory.
the only
right?
thing they will say is, what about the poor people? If you're so concerned about the poor people, upgrade the government schools. But everything, reduce it to government school level of education because nobody can create quality of that scale. Quality will always be niche. Anybody who thinks we'll create top quality across all these million schools that we have in this country is a fool who doesn't… These are people who have done nothing in their lives except push papers.
Yeah.
If you do something on the ground, you cannot provide same quality of education to every child in the country and in the world, it's not possible. Some things will be ahead, something will be behind, we'll set up some kind of parameters as to who gets in there, who doesn't. Okay, you have an IIT. Now do one thing, this IIT is too much. So let us get it down to the local engineering college, how it's running, the same level, otherwise it'll be inequality, you know? You won't have a damn engineer in the country, that's all.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sadhguruji, I'm filming this at the time of Shivratri and Mahashivratri. In the Hindu tradition, could you explain to our viewers what is the significance of Adiyogi? And can a Muslim, can an agnostic, can a Christian partake in Shivratri celebrations and get Adiyogi is the embodiment of, say, consciousness, divine cosmic consciousness.
You're answering the question.
So I'm asking you.
You're answering the question.
So which is why I'm asking you that can a Muslim do that? Can a Christian do that?
Muslims cannot do it, Christians cannot do it, Hindus cannot do it. Only human beings can do it. This is the nature of yoga. Breath is also like that. Muslims cannot breathe, Hindus cannot breathe, Christians cannot breathe. Only human lungs and nostrils can breathe. Just like that, only human beings, this is designed for human beings. If you're something else, I don't know about you.
But it's like there is hot yoga, cold yoga, there is all these yogas.
See, this is what I said in the very beginning. When you make mass application, dilution and distortion will happen. We must be ready for it. Otherwise, I must run an exclusive school, not at the foothills, somewhere deep in the mountains in a cave, where with 10 people or 12 people, I do very severe form of yoga. But now the moment you step into the world and you want to teach it to people, if you teach 100 people with exacting accuracy, within 10 days, these 100 people will be doing small 100 variations of yoga. This is the nature of human beings. You have to keep correcting, you have to keep correcting. After 2 years, they come back and say, no, this is how I learned. You have to keep on correcting. So mass application always have this problem. But what is the level of distortion? Is it damaging or not? That's the only question. If it's not damaging, effectiveness has come down, it's all right. Because instead of just 5 people benefiting, now 5 million people are benefiting. That's the important thing. That's the purpose of mass application. So can a Muslim person or Christian person or Hindu person come? None of them can come. Only if you're human you can come. You must make up your mind, are you human or not?
And open to receiving the teaching? What does one have to do?
There is no teaching. See, you taking oxygen or carbon dioxide from this air?
I can't synthesize that, it happens within me.
I know, but which one you think you're taking? Oxygen, I believe.
I would prefer to, yes.
Yes.
Living in Delhi, Sadhguruji, I'm taking more carbon dioxide.
I know, you're acclimatizing for a some place where everything is supposed to be burning.
Yes.
So, I'm saying everybody breathes the same way, everybody's blood flows the same way, everybody's heart beats the same way, but they have some idea in their head. I don't care what idea you have. Whether you have a Jannat in your head, or heaven in your head, or Swarga in your head, I don't care. Are you here? If you're here, I got business with you.
Yeah.
If you're there, I'm okay. See, this is like this. You build castles in the air. And after some time, you start thinking it's real. Then we say you're neurotic. And then you start living in that castle. Then we say you're psychotic. The third person comes and collects rent for that, psychiatrist.
Okay. Talking about…
So what you think, what you believe is up to you, I don't want to get involved with that. But if you are a living, breathing human being, this will work because this is not my idea, this is not my philosophy, this is a science. If you observe nature, you will see on certain days there's an advantage. It's up to you to make use of it or not. I'm saying please make use of it.
What happens on Mahashivratri day? Night, actually.
See, you know planet is revolving. It's not revolving like this, it's at an angle. We are right now at 11 degrees. This is where the magnetic equator is. The equator is 11 degrees down, but magnetic equator is here. That is why we are at 11 degrees. Chidambaram temple at 11 degrees. Many things of significance around the world they established at 11 degrees in northern hemisphere because when it spins like this, there is a centrifuge. There's a centrifugal force. Anything that spins creates a force like this. That force is almost vertical at 11 degrees.
Okay.
As the planet slopes off, it'll go like that. Here it's almost vertical. So on this day, that force is at its best because it is the last Amavasya or the Shivaratri before the equinox.
So best means what?
In the sense?
What does it mean that it's at
It
best?
is maximum force.
Maximum,
Every Shivaratri, every lunar month, there is a Shivaratri. That's one day before the new moon day.
Okay.
This is called Mahashivaratri because this is the new rising of the sun from solstice to the next solstice. In between is the equinox, which is March 21st. So this Mahashivaratri, this Shivaratri is called Mahashivaratri, which means great Shivaratri, where maximum force is happening. Most people on the spiritual path on Shivaratri, all the brahmacharis here, they shave their head and they sit for sadhana on that day, they are not eating till a certain time. Every Shivaratri they're doing it.
Okay.
Mahashivaratri is much more than that because of the planetary position, and this is for common people to do it at least once a year. In this culture, there is a tradition you come from Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. On Shivaratri day, I did not know this till I was about 18. I saw a lot of, our school boys, others going outside in the nights on their bicycles and throwing stones on the tile-roofed houses, you know that?
Yeah, I've heard of it, yes.
See, this was done because children were told that you must wake up everybody. That night they should not be horizontal. If you're vertical, there's an upsurge of energy naturally. If you're horizontal, it may cause damage to you. So, with full stomach, if you're horizontal, you could cause damage to yourself. So, sit vertical and keep the stomach, if not empty, at least light. And sit vertical so that natural forces you can make use of. It is like, see, if you want to do anything, if you can do it all by yourself, it's fantastic. But there are very few human beings who can do that. For everything, they need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So here is a little bit of help, quite a significant amount of help, that on that day there are stories telling some hunter was sitting on a tree and unknowingly not knowing what to do because they were a tiger or a lion or something, and he was just plucking leaves and putting it and there's shivling there and he got all the benefit. Why they're telling this story is, even if unconsciously if you sit up and you're hungry, it'll benefit you. So, it doesn't matter who you are. You are not anybody, you are just a human species. You believe you're something else, that's up to you.
You talked about customs and traditions which are typical Indian or Sanatani or Hindu or whatever. I want to come to this recent controversy when former Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav told an audience that Modi is not really a Hindu because when his mother passed, he didn't shave his head. And that resulted in a whole lot of furor. Who's the good Hindu? If he doesn't do this when his mother passes, how do you see this?
See, this is why you must be a Hindu, because you can be any damn thing. Do whatever you want or not do whatever you don't want and still be a Hindu. That freedom you've always had. You can shave your head, you can not shave your head, you can do any damn thing. You can do all the rituals or don't do anything, still you're a Hindu, because fundamentally your orientation is seeking the truth. You will seek something only if you realize, I do not know. So Hindu comes from the realization that I'm ignorant. This is very, very important, because the greatest disaster on the planet is what we do not know, we think we know. That is the greatest human disaster, because human beings have come with a certain level of capability and competence. If this level of capability and competence, things that you do not know, if you think you know, then you will cause tremendous damage to the world. That is what is happening right now. So, Sanatan is an inclusive process. It doesn't mean you have to do this or that. Shaving the head as certain this thing. See here, brahmacharis are shaving their heads every month. There are other people who are not shaving, there are other people who have full beard and hair, there are other people who are going for a haircut monthly, all sorts of people. But everybody can do their sadhana. They have little different ways of doing things. This is the whole thing about life. Even the same thing about the nation and the world, as humanity and as a nation. It is best that we all think differently, but we all towards the same direction. You think differently, I think differently, only then there is need for two brains. If both of us think the same, one brain can be eliminated, what's the point? So right now, this is the fundamental difference between Sanatan and other what we call as religions, is everybody should think one way. Everybody should believe one thing. This is religion. Sanatan means we can all think differently. We can believe, disbelieve, whatever we want, but we are all towards one direction, ultimate liberation. This is how you must form a nation. This is how you must create human society. We are all towards one direction, but we all think differently. That's a colorful, beautiful world.
Is there a creeping intolerance coming in Sanatan too?
In reaction, some things may be happening, definitely. I'm not saying everybody who thinks is Sanatan is doing everything perfect. No, not at all. But generally it's in reaction. But there are many who are hotheads. There are certain percentage of hotheads everywhere. There are certain percentage of people who have air in their brains. It is always there. And the thing is, they don't have any scriptural endorsement. That is the only thing we can offer. You cannot get rid of everybody with hot air in their head. But you can get hot air, it's just yours. There is no scriptural source for you to be blown up. That is the important thing. There is nowhere anything supporting that.
From the profound, let's get a little banal now. I'm going to try and do what interviewers of film programs do, which is asking you this or that. If you were to choose…
you come to the end then.
2 words almost. Unless you want to continue, I have no issues with that.
I have no problem. I thought I came here.
This is what happens then when so many VIPs are coming today. I don't want to hog all this time and attention of yours.
No, so VIPs don't take my time.
They don't?
Take my time, I said.
Let me ask you, if you were
They're so important that I don't have to do anything for them.
Democracy or benevolent dictatorship, what do you think is the right way for India?
See, once again I would like to tell you, this is all European mindset. This is a country where we have had strong emperors, but they were still democratic. Anybody who thinks having 100 people or 542 people leading the country, we are going to go somewhere, we will not go anywhere. Always it takes a leader to direct that force. Representation is there, as I said earlier, different thought processes, different ways of feeling and thinking must be there, but we must have one direction. For that direction, setting that direction, there is a constitution, but not everybody understands a constitution or a scripture exactly the same way. There must be somebody to put it in place. So always, most nations have thrived well only when there were strong leaders. If you want to call a strong leader a dictator, I don't know why, because there is a constitution that he can never become a dictator, right? In any country, any democratic country, it doesn't matter who comes, we have set up at least enough infrastructure in terms of constitution and various institutions that they cannot become dictators in most nations, except some nations which are still not well formed.
So we have checks and balances in place.
Enough.
Right. Coalition governments or strong governments, what do you think works better for Indians? What do Indians prefer?
See, people seeing a few figures, economic figures, or reading social media, or because, because of the cinema that they see, they may be thinking India is becoming superpower. No, please travel through the villages of India and see. We are still in a pit. We are definitely moving on, definitely. A huge number of people have come out of poverty, all these things are there, but still, coming out of poverty is still… Out of poverty stage is also very poor compared to any other nation. let's not compare ourselves to any other nation. As far as I'm concerned, if an individual human being has enough nourishment to grow into a full-fledged physical human being and has all the opportunities open to them, whether they explore that, whether they get there or not is up to them. But opportunities are open, I think we're a good enough country.
Eradication of poverty, you would say, would be one of the top goals of the next government?
It should be the top goal for anybody that human beings are at least eating well and able to do the basic things that a human being should do. That is always the goal, because that means if that is not the goal, then that means we are not concerned about the people.
Right.
That is not a government, all right? That is definitely the goal. Then comes education, then comes many things. But there are other menaces also. Right now, for example, in United States, it's taken on another dimension. The alcohol and drug usage, to what extent it's going. India, for its economic capability, I think we are also going very far. America is a rich nation. Now, with the momentum that they have, they keep rolling for some more time, all right? We are not in that place, but already our alcohol consumption and drug consumption is going in a certain way. And I'm sure certain nations have a role to play in this, because you remember at one time, people tried to sabotage China with opium wars. The trade unfortunately happened through India, you know. 3 wars happened. So nations were insisting that your people must be on the drug. That's what opium war means. I want to sell drugs to you, I have a right to get your people into drug addiction. Today, such a war would be… open statement would be unacceptable in today's world. But there are many nations are doing it to other nations.
So there's a covert war on…
There is.
There is.
There always is. See, we must understand, this is… geopolitics is not a schoolboy thing.
Correct.
It's a complex process. It is not this or that, it's always… who is playing smartly in a given situation is on. Many things are happening, I don't want to go into the detail of it. But geopolitics is not schoolboy stuff. He said that, I said this, so I bomb you, you bomb me. That's not how it is, it's far more complex. Those who are looking like enemies may be friends, those who are looking like friends are enemies. It's all a big mix, all right? At least I'm glad in our geopolitic language, Pakistan has gone out of our language, which is a big relief.
You think that?
It's a big relief. Otherwise, for everything we were thinking Pakistan, but some people are still shouting slogans, I'm sorry, but…
It's inconsequential?
No,
But
it's
it's
not
still…
inconsequential, but the nation is becoming inconsequential.
But it still is, as you said, somebody's
Yes.
said a Pakistan slogan recently.
As I said earlier, a tiny little nation or a powerless nation will become powerful because there is a certain empowerment which we call as nuclear weaponry. So with that, even a broke-down country is dangerous. You can't take it for granted, all right? You cannot take it for granted. But at least from our language, it's fallen off. For everything we were saying Pakistan hand. Now, unfortunately, that's gone out of most of the language in the government and in the MEA, and in the people's minds also, largely it's going out, which is a good thing. Because some other nation should not rule the consciousness of this nation. This nation should see what is best for this country. I think we are beginning to think on those lines. It's a fine balancing that we are doing between Russia and America and all this stuff shows that for the first time probably, we are thinking what is good for our people, not worrying about what somebody else is doing. Is this the best thing, nationalism? No. But in the given situation, nation is the largest population that you can address. You can't address the globe. Well, there are bodies like G7, G20, 21, whatever you want to call it, there you can address. But in terms of administration and bringing well-being, the largest piece of humanity that you can address is a nation. And we as 1.4 billion people, we're a world by ourselves. So thinking of the well-being of the people, what is good for this country, not versus what is bad for somebody else, but what is good for us, because it's their business to mind what is good for them. So in that sense, I think we are on the right trajectory. We are thinking what is good for this country, rather than giving a moral commentary on everybody in the world.
But I will ask you for a commentary on the world because you do travel to America quite a bit. Who do you think is better for America, Trump or Biden?
Whoever the American people choose.
They come and speak to you about it.
See, I'm made like this. It's very difficult for people to understand because I speak strongly what is good for the nation or what I see is a forward step for the nation. People think obviously they will link it to if some political leader has said similar things, they say, oh, he's supporting him. This is a very simplistic way of understanding life. This simplistic understanding is taking a huge toll on America. It could take a huge toll on India in future. In America, it is no more a democracy, it's become like a tribal fight. That you're born into democratic family or you're born into Republican family. Democracy means every time the opportunity comes in front of you to choose a new leader, you must look at it, whether this person will make a good leader for my country for the times that we are in or not. No, I'm born a Democrat, I'll vote a Democrat. I'm born a Republican, I'll vote a Republican. This is tribalism. So we are throwing away democracy. Once tribalism comes, blood is just 2 steps away from us. Blood will flow. Once tribalism comes, blood will flow, bloodletting will happen. So please go back to your democracy. America, India, every other nation, please get back to democracy because it's the sanest way to handle things. It's not a perfect way, but it's the sanest way. Rest will go into madness.
Carnatic music or Hindustani classical music, what does Sadhguru like?
Wow. I don't see… I know in style there is differentiation, but the fundamentals are same. Because I'm not music educated in any way, I don't know which raga is which raga, what is what, nothing. I don't understand nothing. But if people around me who are good at these things, they're surprised that even if it goes off slightly, I know it's gone off. Because I'm a listener, I'm not knowledgeable, I listen. So in that sense, essentially I don't see any difference because I listen to the fundamentals more than the melody of it on the surface.
And who's the singer that you like?
Oh, among the classical musicians? Well,
I know Shankar Mahadevan is performing, so…
Shankar is very versatile, but he doesn't invest so much time in classical anymore because he's a popular musician now. I think in terms of fundamentals, he is fantastic. Well, for me, somehow Bhimsen Joshi was that voice. And in the south, Bal Murali Krishna always ruled. But these days I don't almost listen to no music.
Why?
Yeah, it is so busy. When I get time, this is fine.
Is this music too, when you sit quietly? Do you see music in…
Silence is the basis of all sound, isn't it? If there was no silence, would there be sound? So if you listen keenly enough, listen does not mean just eardrums. If you just… silence is the best thing and
food?
the little time that I get for myself, generally I'm silent, I don't play any music.
What is the food that you like? North Indian, South Indian?
Definitely not North Indian.
Okay. Why? Why so vehement?
Because, see, North Indian food is basically bread, fresh bread, better than baked bread which is kept for a month. Definitely fresh bread, if it comes off the, tandoor right now, I would like to eat it because it smells good and it feels good. But otherwise you don't have… I know North Indians will think I'm prejudiced, I'm not. Just look at it carefully without any prejudice. There is no variety of spices. Your idea of spice is only chili and jeera, okay? You come down south here, our kitchen will have 58 kinds of spices, all right? So it's a complex mix. But that is going away in South India also because these things thrived when women were fully dedicated to cooking. They held their husbands by the tongue. In my ancestral family, they were all business people who went away to other countries with their ships, with the potato, onion, this, that, they went away somewhere. They would come back after 3, 4 months. So they're gone. This is gossiped about, nobody knows for sure, but at least the gossip in the town is that my great-grandfather had one family in Japan, one family in Burma, and one family in Kashmir to get the potatoes. Everywhere they go 2 months, 3 months, no email, no phone, no nothing. Their life is elsewhere. So, probably it's true, I don't know. At least people gossip like that. But they said, we will always come back here for the food.
For the food. Okay. So, why
Because
is
women invested their life in making the food in such a way that you get enslaved. Even we, when we grew up, wherever they take us, whatever wedding party, wherever you take us, we pretend to eat, but we'll come home and eat.
What? What do you eat? Rice?
I can't tell you like that.
Curds? No.
See, that is what… that's simplistic, it's not like that.
It's complicated food.
Yes, if I cook for you one day, you will become my slave.
Really? That interesting. To drink, what would you like? Coconut water, Diet Coke? What do you
Depends
drink?
what time of the day and what's the weather. Definitely not Coke.
Then?
Coconut water is great if it's in the afternoons.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, we're South Indian.
Nimbu pani? No.
Why will I drink nimbu
Kokam.
pani? That's North Indian. Kokam is further south, we don't get much here.
How parochial are you?
We make the best coffee out here.
Huh. Okay. So it's… but I don't see coffee anywhere around.
In the ashram, only in the restaurants it's served.
Huh.
Because all of them are on lot of sadhana. When they're on sadhana, any stimulant is not good, it'll not work
Oh,
for
I
their
see.
well-being.
Ah, I see. That's why I was wondering what happened.
They have internal stimulants, they can be on day and night, you will see all night they'll stay up tomorrow. And these 3 days they've barely slept, probably many of them have not slept, but they'll be fine because internally charged. But
I have to ask you a question, Sadhguruji, which parents of young children ask, is the inability of children to have attention towards one particular task at hand. How can they inculcate this?
see, it starts from parents not being able to pay enough attention to the children.
Yeah.
So, lot of parents coming to me and saying, Sadhguru, my child is always on the phone, what to do? I ask them, how many hours are you on the phone? What, Sadhguru, she's just a child. Arey, she's just imitating you and she's next generation, she'll be one step ahead of you. All right? So, we must understand, children came unprejudiced. They became the way we became because the type of adults that they are seeing. No, I try to teach them the best things, nobody is interested in your stupid teaching. They're observing you, they're not listening to you at all. They won't listen to you, but they're watching you. And whatever you do, they multiply ahead of you. If you smoke at 18, they smoke at 14. That's how it is.
Yeah. For reading, would you read like on a hardcore book or a Kindle? Is reading a part of your relaxation work?
Unfortunately, no, I would love to read, but time-wise, I'm no reading at all.
Are you a slave to a time schedule, which
What
is
do you mean?
fixed by people? You have to travel at this time, you have to go here, you have to come here.
Events are fixed, of course, but it's all fixed in concurrence with me. But I've still not learned how to say no to them because they will pitch so strongly. I say, okay. Then I realize in a day I have 5 events.
Do you like traveling? Do you enjoy traveling? Do you travel for leisure, pleasure?
I haven't done that in a very long time.
It's fixed for you.
Why do you say it's fixed? I fix
In the
it.
sense, yeah, you fix it, but is it for an event? Like suppose I just
Yes.
want to get up and go to the hills, get up and go to a beach
That
resort.
also I fix it as a program. I trek every year in Nepal and Tibet
Okay.
or somewhere else. But just for the pleasure of going away into the mountains, I don't know, we've not done it in years. Maybe last year for my daughter's birthday, I went there after almost 8, 9 years.
To the mountains?
Yeah, there is a place where a series of waterfalls, there's a cave which all of them call as Sadhguru cave because of some history behind it. I went there almost after 8 years. But those things are less and less. But do you enjoy? You must take away that question from me.
Why?
I'm just joyful.
Okay.
Whether I'm doing something or not doing something, I'm joyful by nature, or at least I've decided to be that way. So, if I get to do something, it's fine. If I don't do anything, it's very wonderful, no problem.
Ascetics, mystics are known to cut away from people. You never feel the need to do that?
No, probably their state is so fragile. My state is not like that. I can be in the thick of the marketplace and still be who I am. Nothing changes about me.
And who are you?
Huh?
Who are you? That's a good question, isn't it? You have to tell me the answer.
That question should always be directed at yourself. Who am I?
No, that is too much to answer. It's a difficult path for me to go. So I'm asking you, who are you?
I did not fall into any definition. I'm capable of being anything that is needed out of me. If you want me yogi, I'm a perfect yogi. If you want me involved in the world, absolutely involved. Anything, I'm fine. You must look back and see on this civilization. People that you generally worshipful about, they are not defined. Can you define Shiva? He is a householder, but he's an ascetic. He is super meditative, but he is drunk. He is, Sundaramurti, but he's hideous many times. So there's no definition, because definition is for constipated human beings who are trying to make themselves something by a definition. The phenomena of life is not a definition. If it falls into a definition, it's a poor life. It should not fall into a definition. What is needed now? You must be able to do it 100%, whatever it is. See, you look back and see, you say Rama is a very peaceful, wonderful man, but he's battling, all right, killing people. Battle is not some joke. You have to be brutal. You burn down a city, but absolutely peaceful. Kill your enemy, come and repent for 1 year. Doesn't fall into a definition, isn't it?
No, it
People always trying to put them into definition. Krishna is even worse. He doesn't fall into any definition.
Yeah.
People are trying to fix him for their understanding, but they don't fall into any definition. This has been the way of every yogi, because to be in yoga means you broke the definition. See, definition is what is it that defines you. One thing is the boundary of your body. Another thing is the boundary of your mind and emotions and your energies. Only if you break this, you're a yogi. Yogi means one who has consciously obliterated the boundaries of our existence. Yoga means union. Union will happen only if you obliterate the boundaries. If you obliterate the boundaries, what is the definition? As the required, at a given moment, what is the action that you need to perform? I'm 100% there. If I sit there among people, I'm like that. If I get on my motorcycle, I'm an aggressive rider. If I play, I will play to win. Because you have to do that act the way it needs to be done. I'm not an expert on Gita or something, but in a way that's all I believe he's trying to tell Arjuna. You fool, you come as a warrior, now you're trying to talk like a saint. You come here, just fight the damn thing. Otherwise, even if you go to the forest, anyway they'll come and kill you, all right?
Yeah.
See, now you and me are at battle. Suddenly I say, no, I don't want to fight, I will go. You leave me. After so many decades of enmity, you will come behind me and hack me down anyway. He's trying to put some sense into him.
Interesting, yes. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for giving us the time and explaining life's mysteries to us. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening or watching to this edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe to the channel and share with those who you think will benefit from listening to these conversations. Namaste, Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.